Hello and welcome back to the Author Roundup, a special segment of the Book Connection Show where we meet up and coming indie authors and talk to them about the recently released books. Welcome back. Again, this is Ray Walters. Our guest today is a storyteller whose work bridges imagination with timeless values. Born in Chile and later moving to the United States, she first pursued a career in architecture and landscape design before answering a deeper calling to inspire children through the power of story. Her latest book, The Sky is the Limit, weaves together allegorical tales featuring vibrant animal characters that guide young readers towards self-discovery, resilience, and compassion. Beyond just stories, this book is a gentle invitation for parents and children to connect through meaningful conversations about life's lessons. Living now in Florida, she continues to create, paint, and explore ways to help others discover their fullest potential. It's a joy to welcome today's guest, Astrid Hoffmann. Hi, Astrid. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Ray. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you. The pleasure is mine, of course. Great to have you on the show today. Astrid, let me jump right in. So you have published a book. The title is The Sky's the Limit. It's a collection of 7 short allegorical stories for children, each featuring animal characters who model life lessons about self-worth, trust, responsibility, leadership, resilience, and love. Now, my question is this, very excited. What inspired you to write the Sky's the Limit, and why did you feel children needed these kinds of stories today?
Oh, I think not only children need the stories today, I think everybody needs them.
Yes,
We are living in
definitely.
a fast-paced world, right? Where things are changing daily. We are bombarded with information and competition is high.
Mm,
I remember when I was a child, stress wasn't in my mind, but now I see children being stressed, being pushed to perform. So I thought it would be nice to help our society learn those things from the beginning, right? Like self-love and feeling more assured. We are always trying to be somebody else. We're always trying to mimic somebody that we see on social media.
right.
So it is important, I feel, that we educate our children to become more self-assured, not
Okay.
selfish. I'm not talking about selfishness.
Yes.
I'm talking about in tune with themselves,
Mm,
um, believing in themselves, right? So that
right.
they can perform better in a complex world where we are. So those are mainly the issues that I thought, well, it would be nice to tell stories that are easier for children to grasp and
Mm,
start planting seeds as they talk to their parents, as they have discussions to help them feel better about themselves and not, insecure,
right.
basically.
That's very interesting. It's an avenue where parents and children, their kids, can connect. So when it's read during bedtime, before bedtime, they're encouraged to interact, uh, allow the children to raise questions and have the parents answer. Um, Another interesting point in this book that you have written, Astrid, is that you blend the animal characters with human traits. So, what made you choose this approach for teaching life lessons?
I think it's easier if you look at some being that you feel tenderness towards, or you like, or admire, or you cannot directly compare yourself. So animals are beautiful beings, to my belief. They are creatures, that are so in tune with themselves that I thought it would be better to understand the stories if I put them in a character that is maybe not another child, so that you
Yeah.
don't compare yourself with that child.
Ah, good
And
idea.
it is a creature that is different and look like us, but it's also some uh, being that we might like. So it might be easier to understand, to feel tenderness or
Mhm.
feel engaged with their story. That was basically what inspired me to go there and try to bring those human issues to life through the animals.
Right. So the animals that you used in the story have a, we're not going to disclose the names of these characters. It's for them to find out, definitely. But there's, I think there's a cow right there. Am I
Yes,
correct?
there is a cow.
There
Yes,
is a cow, and
there are two home pets, there are two
okay.
farm animals, and there are two wildlife animals. And all of them have, can I say it, have a bird as a companion.
Okay.
And the bird has a meaning. The bird has a meaning here. It's kind of that inner voice that accompanies the character and brings sense to everything that is happening and helps them kind of find solution.
Very interesting. You purposely put all these animals together. Um, so well, I can say there's like a category. There's a house pet, wildlife, livestock, animals. It
Yeah.
purposely placed together. Very creative. Um, okay, so many of the stories touch on themes like trust, responsibility, and of course, self-love. How did you decide? Because there are a lot of values, right? There are a lot of values you can highlight in a story. So, how did you decide which values to highlight?
Maybe I looked a little bit on what is going on with children around me, with those I know, uh, with family, and kind of explored what is that troubles them most, right? Like trusting, uh, or believing in myself, or feeling that if I need to do chores, it will hinder my freedom or things like that, right? So that's why I touched on those that kind of built your blocks, your base in life, so that as you learn from these experiences and kind of introduce these topics into your being,
Mm,
you start understanding better and focusing on yourself, like what is going on with me with this topic. That is basically, I don't think children really focus on those things
mm,
naturally as they are little, but as you grow up, those things start becoming important for you, right?
right.
So basically was that the topics are important for growth
Okay.
and for building self-esteem throughout time as children grow up.
All right. Um, uh, as a parent or teacher reads these stories with children, what kinds of conversation do you hope will unfold?
Well, I hope that children ask questions, and I hope that parents question themselves too, basically, right? And what I want to instill here is a sense of goodness,
Hmm.
that we can create a society that is more in tune with themselves, that is not so much looking and expecting the outer world to save them, but are responsible of their own. So that there's nobody to blame. It's just yourself, right? And I hope that those type of deep conversation, difficult conversations
Mm,
sometimes can arise so that children start having the right tools to move forward in life. And yes, it is also a question for parents because
mm,
sometimes parents need some lessons too. Um, so yeah, that I hope that the conversations turn into understanding themselves. If they have trouble at school, let's say, why is this person bullying me? Why do I feel so insecure in math or
mm.
whatever, right? So that they can talk about what concerns them personally with their parents and find answers accompanied by this book. And maybe one day they read a story and find something, and maybe another day or another time they read it again and another topic arises, right?
Uh,
Depending on how they're feeling in the moment.
right. Uh, okay. So uh a collection of allegorical stories, right? Uh, I don't want to go ahead and ask this question, but I'm curious. Which of the stories, uh, which story or character is personally closest to your heart, and why?
There's one story that is inspired by my cat,
Okay.
and she lived with me for 16 years. It was my companion. She waited for me at the door and she passed. So I wanted to talk about that topic that sometimes could be hard, but in a story that could engage everybody. And I put it in a character that is more magical, in a situation that you can understand better as a story.
Mhm.
Um, Getting the love that an animal can give you, or a companion can give you, and a friend can give you, or your set of beliefs can give you, right? That is basically what this story wants to tell. It's about friendship, it's about love, it's about loss, but also gain. What you can always learn from positive or negative situations also bring you positive learning. Um, so that is the closest to my heart because it is based on an animal that really existed.
All right. Understood. Understood. Okay. Here, the main focus, the main audience of your book are children, but definitely, of course, parents can learn from but by reading this book to their children. But Astrid, writing for children often requires simplicity and depth. So, how did you strike that balance?
Oh, that was probably one of the most difficult parts because when you write for adults, right, you flourish the story, you describe the room, you create an atmosphere and side stories, and it's much more complex in
Right.
terms of the net that goes into the story, right? For children's, you need to be precise, you need to go to the point. So I thought creating an issue, showing it, and then through the bird start finding the solutions, right? So that it is more direct and precise to convey the issue and the
Mm.
learning experience. Um,
Okay. Another thing about the book that you've written, Astrid, is that it encourages self-reflection. Do you believe children naturally understand these lessons, or do they, grow into them over time?
I think we grow through these things over time,
Hmm.
right? Probably as a child, you might not understand exactly what is going on in your life, but you feel. Children have feelings, right? They feel
Right.
stress for some reason. They feel rejected. They feel that they don't belong. So their stories, I hope they can help them understand that is not their fault, that they are beautiful as they are, so can step by step grow into a more self-assured person. And as they grow up, they might be understanding more things within the story, right? Uh, because their experiences and their understanding of what is going on around them will be deeper and
Okay.
maybe even richer, right?
Mm.
So yes, it's over time that you grow into this. But I thought, let's plant a seed. Let's do one step at the time. And so as they can talk to their parents, as they can talk to their teachers, or even between friends, they can start interiorizing these stories, right? They can make them their own.
So what role did your own life experiences play in shaping these stories? Already know that one of the stories that you have here is based on a real life event, uh, or is influenced by a real life event, you having a pet cat. But you know, in terms of the entire experience that you have, your own life experiences, how does this reflect to shaping these stories?
I think somehow it's my own experience in all of them a little bit, some more than others, right? I feel that I was a very shy child,
Mm.
um, that maybe I always stayed behind and looked. I was very observant. I
Oh.
drew a lot. I did a lot of the observing part, um, but I didn't, um, became the leader of the pack, so to say. So there are stories that tell about leadership, about belief in yourself, about trust and all of that. I think somehow every one of it touched my life in some way.
Mm.
So that's why I could write about them, because in my memories, they were part of my life. Um, and I thought that touching those topics that are key to today's society and children growing up, um, that also affected me could be better told, right, as a story.
All right. Let's connect the book's lesson to real world application, showing its practicality, its practical impact beyond reading. So how do you hope readers will carry these lessons into their, friendships, schools, and even communities?
That's a great question. Oh my goodness. I think um, I hope that the children can play the roles. They can understand that things don't necessarily happen in adulthood only, that you can incorporate like leadership issues, right, into your life as a child. If I'm a bully child, maybe I will need some help externally from grown-ups to understand this, but that there are different aspects, and to look at myself and a bit understand why is it that I feel that need to overpower others,
Mm.
and understand what leadership is. To me, for example, leader is a guide, is a mentor. The boss might be the one that tells you what to do. But as a leader, I would like children to understand that they can be more like the role model in their between their peers. Um, I hope that these conversations can also come to understanding that we can be good, that goodness is not a weak thing,
Yeah.
that goodness brings much more. Uh, the rewards they can get by being a friendly person, being, empathetic to others, can be very enriching, and can give them a more sustained life. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I might be a dreamer. I might be very hopeful in our society, But I think sometimes we are so saddened by all the things that we hear that
Mm,
knowing that goodness is is good, vulnerability is positive, and being in touch with ourselves is the most rich thing that can happen to you, because so you can build better relationships with others, right? If you know who you are, where you're standing.
true, true. I would want to go and explore the heart of the book's message uh, through your personal interpretation of the title. Now, if you're holding your book right in front of you and you can see the title, The Sky's the Limit, there, The Sky's the Limit, that is a very empowering title. So, what does it mean to you personally, Astrid?
Well, the sky has no roof, right? The sky has no roof, so there's no real limit. And that's how the title came, because it's the limit. Yeah, but you can keep going because there is no roof to stop you. Um, I was helping an organization here in town for underprivileged kids, and their director, that was the message she wanted to instill in all of these children. They're from underprivileged family,
Mhm.
but she always told them, you can be what you want to be if you put yourself into it. So I think that is a little bit what goes behind the sky is the limit, because
Mhm.
it's only a limit that we can impose. We only impose to ourselves.
True.
So that's why the background also of the book, right? It's kind of a sky with starry, with stars, and it is the universe,
True.
which is
So true.
vast.
Yes. So true. I agree with that. In the morning with the sun blazing, you basically can't see what's beyond the blue sky that we have in the clouds. But at night, you so well know the when you have a clear, cloudless night, you're
Oh,
able
beautiful.
to
Yes.
peer into what's beyond. And
Mhm.
that I agree fully. Let's look into drawing a concise takeaway message that can resonate with adults guiding children. If parents or teachers could take just one principle from this book to guide children, what would you want it to be?
Be true to yourself. You're perfect as you are. That is, I think, what could make our children better adults.
Mhm.
If we feel that we are good as we are, and we don't need to want to be uh, like somebody else. That be true to yourself always in everything, not only physical looking, um, the clothes I wear, the makeup or whatever, right? Hairstyle, but also true to yourself inside. What is that triggers me to be happy? What is that moves me to be better? What is that makes me a better athlete,
Mhm.
a better student, a better friend? What moves me inside? I think that is magnificent.
Astrid, to close this conversation, I don't want to go ahead and end this, but to close this conversation, looking forward, how do you envision continuing your work in children's literature? Are there more stories like this to come?
I was thinking on probably focusing on a character
Mhm.
and maybe have that character evolved, show different sides, um, a little bit like a James Bond character, right? But for
Okay.
children, and
Okay.
follow this character through history, through their stories, right? And maybe just do that. Shorter, direct stories that you look forward to know what the next chapter is. So then offer a next one. But this is just a project. It's just an idea. I'm filtering it out slowly, but yes, that could be something. Take a character that probably is liked
Right.
and resonates with most, right? And bring it out to the world and have it show their good and bad moments and how to find solutions to them.
Astrid, where can we grab a copy of your book? For those who are interested, for our viewers and listeners, where can they get a copy of The Sky's the Limit?
Well, there are two places online that where you can grab it, and hopefully in the future also in bookstores. But right now, I don't know if you can read here. Balboa Press
Hmm.
is the company that is my editor's company, and they have the book for sale on Balboa Press under Astrid Hoffmann. The Sky is the Limit, children's stories on exploring the power of self, and also on Amazon. Look for Astrid Hoffmann again. The Sky is the Limit. Yeah, that is for now where I have it. And I'm also creating a web page that I hope to have out soon, and it might have something with Sky on it. So, and social media. But to buy the book, definitely Balboa Press and Amazon.
Astrid, such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing your experience, your thoughts, your perspective on this newly published book, The Sky's the Limit.
Thank you so much, Ray. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure is mine. There you have it, folks. Astrid Hoffmann, wonderful author. Uh, go grab a copy of the book if you're interested. We'll provide links down below. Now, I also want to give a big shout out to our awesome viewers and listeners for joining us for this interview. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations on the Author Roundup. I'm Ray Walters. Join me next time as we explore the world of supported self publishing, one indie author at a time.